Ever wonder how that one guy is jacked and the fastest on the field? The one dude that's destroying people on the field, but then when he takes his shirt off, he's just ripped with abs and all the girls are coming to him and just obsessing over him. Ever wonder how he's able to be that good on the field and how he looks shredded at the same time? You probably think it's his genetics, that he was born that way. But let me tell you, that's not the full story all the time. If you're tired of being kind of athletic and kind of in shape while other dudes look like action figures, this video is for you and you're gonna love this video. In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can build muscle without losing a step on the field. And before I get into the tangible things that you can do right now to become shredded and become more explosive, I gotta show you my progress. And if you've seen some of my videos before, you've seen what I've been through and what I've overcame, you've seen my progress. But if you haven't seen my videos and you're new to this channel, here's some pictures and here's what I've looked like in the past and here's what I look like now. I've overcame 3 knee surgeries. My weight has fluctuated from up, down, up, down, up, down. I've learned so much about the body, and I know that if I gained 100 pounds today, I know exactly what I would do to get it off and to become athletic at the same time. So I was able to go through my injuries that I went through. I was able to put on muscle without becoming less explosive. I was actually getting way better while I was putting on muscle, but it's all because of what I'm about to teach you in this video. So with no further ado, let's get into it. Now, when I first started caring about my physique and caring about lifting weights and putting on muscle, I was going into my freshman year of college, and my senior year had just ended in high school. And I was skinny at the time, and here I'll put a visual up right now. But so I thought that I just needed to just eat a whole bunch of stuff and then just lift weights and I'll get bigger like that. So I started doing that, but I put on more body fat. I started eating a whole bunch of peanut butter. I started just drinking a whole bunch of protein shakes. I started just stuffing my face with food and thinking that I was gonna get ripped. But the truth is, I got stronger, I got bigger, but I started to put on more body fat, as you can see in some of these videos. I thought I was looking more ripped, but I really wasn't. I was just building fat in my stomach. And so later on that next year, I had gotten hurt and I got even more out of shape when I was rehabbing from that. So I realized while I was rehabbing that I need to lock in and that I need to track my calories. And I actually learned this I went to dinner with my family and I saw how I looked in a picture. I'm like, this isn't how a Division I receiver is supposed to look like. And so I feel like I looked chubby while I was rehabbing from my knee injury. And so that night I was so mad about how I looked that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start counting my calories from now on. I'm gonna get 10,000 steps a day. And I'm gonna get more into that 10,000 steps a day later. But right now, I'm talking about counting your calories. And whenever I started counting my calories, I'm telling you, within months, it was a game changer. This is what I look like on that night where I came home from my dinner, and this is what I look like in about a couple months, just from me counting my calories and finding the right amount of calories I need to eat. And so the way I found the amount of calories I need to eat, I looked up an athlete macro calculator. I literally put my information in there and I followed that, and I would eat about 2,700 calories every day and 180 grams of protein every day. So I would eat that, and I would eat chicken, rice, broccoli for 3 meals in a row, and then I would have some protein bars as my snack or whatever. And I saw progress so fast, and I'd never seen progress that fast from only a couple months. So I'm telling you, if you can just lock in for a couple months, you'll see growth. But counting your calories isn't the only thing that you need to do. You need to understand that we need carbs and that we're athletes. We can't neglect carbs. We can't go on the carnivore diet. We can't just eat protein for all we eat. I know we see videos on the internet talking about that we need to just eat protein as men, but we need carbs too, because carbs will fuel our athleticism. Your fast twitch muscle fibers, your joints, your ligaments, all of that, your tendons. That's what your carbs are for. Your protein is for your muscles. Your carbs fuel all the other things, all those things I just named. So do not neglect them, okay? So the way I track my carbs is that I find how much kilograms I weigh and I times it by 6 or by 7. And I do the same thing with my protein, but I times how many kilograms I weigh by 2. And so that determines how much carbs I should eat. That determines how much protein I should eat. So and how I track this, I would get a food scale, and I would get measuring cups, tablespoons, all of that. I would track it in notes in my phone, and I would just look on the labels on the boxes or on the packages, and I would calculate it. I'll just put in the notes on my phone, and that's how I track my food. And that's how I went from this to this in a couple of months. And that's what I'm doing right now to rehab from my third knee surgery. And I'm telling you, it works. You just gotta be patient. Depending on your genetics, that will show how fast you will progress. Don't blame everything on genetics, because you will never see your genetic potential if you don't put work like this in, okay? But so moving on to the next talking point is lifting weights, how to lift weights the right way to be ripped, and how to lift the right weights to be explosive. Now I have a video about how to become super explosive. I talk about how to lift weights to be explosive in that video. This video is about how to get your physique right while you're lifting weights. So in my situation, whenever I was skinny, I noticed that my shoulders were kind of narrow and I didn't like the proportions of my body. So I understood that I need to get my shoulders bigger. And so what I would do, I did nucleus overload. And so what that means is I would do 100 reps every single day, except for my rest days. I'll do 100 reps of shoulder workouts. So it could be 100 reps of this, 100 reps of lateral raises, and I'll do 100 reps of tricep push downs every single day on my lower body days, on my upper body days. The only time I'm not doing that is my rest days. And that's how I got my arms bigger. That's how I got my shoulders bigger. That's how I got my proportions right. Whatever you want for your body, whatever improvements you want, I suggest you do nucleus overload. You choose what body part it is that you want to improve the most. Is it your arms? If it's your arms, do 100 reps of tricep push downs. And you can do that, and you can do 100 reps of bicep curls. Identify what part of your body it is that you want to improve the most. And you can train with high volume. See, in a lot of my videos, I say around 6 to 8 reps, that's where you want to lift. But if we're training to get bigger, if we want to get bigger, and this was a stage in my life where I wanted to get my physique right, and that was important to me, I would lift for 4 sets of 12 on all of my lifts. I would do 4 sets of 12 shoulder press like this, and then I would do shoulder press all day on my upper body days. And that's how I got my shoulders right. That's how I got that right. If you want to get bigger, that's your goal, then you got to lift with more volume. So 4 sets of 12, that's something I always did whenever I was trying to get bigger. But the main thing is intensity. It's gotta be hard. It's gotta be hard in the moment when you're lifting that weight. And that's why I say now go to failure, because if you're doing 4 sets of 12 and that last 12 one is hard and you can't really do it, that's failure. So I just say go to failure now. And I'd rather you fail around 6 to 8 reps. But if you're skinny, if you're small, then go up to 12 if you want to build muscle, okay? I would do an upper lower split. I worked out 6 days a week. I really think you should do like 4 days a week, I think, or you can do 5 days a week on lifting weights. If you're focused on shoulders like me, then 3 days a week, it'll be upper body working on your shoulders. And then 2 days a week, it'll be lower body. But so my lifts, I would do shoulder press, I would do lateral raises, I would do incline press, I would do tricep extensions, I would do weighted push-ups, pull-ups, I would do shrugs, I would do bicep curls, hammer curls. I would just alternate those in throughout my upper body lifts. Okay, and then for my lower body lifts, I would do Bulgarians, leg press, leg extension. I would do hamstring curls, calf raises. I'll do these Goda isometrics. That's what I do now. If you don't have any weights at home, these are definitely the best things you can do. Without a doubt, I just do those to failure. These lateral lunges, these regular lunges, these back extensions. I'll do all those and I'll alternate those through my lower body lifts. And for my abs, I'll do cable crunches. I'll do hanging leg raises, knee tucks. I'll do weighted sit-ups. I'll do ab rollouts, and then I would add a weight on my back for those rollouts. Those are all the workouts I did for my abs, from my upper body to my lower body. But if you want me to go more in depth about what I did, and if you want me to help you personally, join my community. I literally have a course about this video in that community. It's where you can learn how to transform your body and become super explosive by doing that. That's literally my how to become aesthetic and athletic course that's in that community. You can join for 7 days free in the community, and then you can ask me whatever questions you want. How to become more explosive, how to drop your 40 time. You play a receiver like me, you can learn how to become unguardable. You can learn how to reprogram your mindset. If all of that resonates with you, I'm telling you, my community is where you want to go, okay? So go in there and watch the videos and ask me questions. But getting back to the video. The thing with lifting weights is that every athlete can have the same weightlifting routine. A baseball player can do the same exact lifts as a football player. A football player can do the same exact lifts as a basketball player. A basketball player can do the same exact lifts as a soccer player. Because the thing in the weight room, we're not working on our sport specific things. We're working on our strength. I talk about Coach Mark Asanovich all the time. And I talk about him in my explosive video that I mentioned earlier. And he always says that strength translates into speed when you put in the proper mechanics. When he talks about putting things in the proper mechanics, he means by doing your sport and letting your body know your movements in your sport. So what I'm about to talk to you about right now is the movement section. Some things you can do with your lifts or you can do after your lifts. I prefer them to do before my lifts is my plyometrics. Whenever I was new to all of lifting weights, I would do 5 minutes of jump rope every day. And I really felt like that helped with my ankle stiffness, that helped with just my athletic ability, that helped get me skinny. Like how I showed you earlier in the video how I was skinny, that got me athletic and that really got me in shape. I would do 5 minutes of jump rope every day. But so here are some plyometrics you can do before your weightlifting session, or you can do it during your weightlifting session. These split jumps, these hurdle jumps, these broad jumps, these approach jumps. And you can do these for about anywhere from like 4 to 5 reps and make sure it's max intensity. The thing with plyometrics is there are so many different variations that these are just like super basic ones. You can add these into, you can do a split jump into a hurdle jump. You can do a split jump into a broad jump, okay? You can do a whole, like you can mix and match plyometrics. These are just a couple of examples. There's an abundance of plyometrics out there. Abundance of different things you can do. These are just some quick examples, some basic ones that you can use, okay? This is how we put it in the proper mechanics. This is how we get more athletic. Now that we're doing our plyos, we can do plyos around 3 to 4 times a week. Something that's super important into getting super explosive after we count our calories, after we do our plyos, after we lift weights the right way, then we need to sprint twice a week. Outside of you hitting the field and playing football, or you hitting the basketball court and playing basketball, this is how we remain super athletic. So if we're in the off season and we're in a phase where we're just lifting weights and we're not hitting the field, we're not sprinting, that's how you become too bulky. That's how you become unathletic. You're not gonna get too bulky if you're always doing something athletic while you're lifting weights. That's why I say do plyos with the weights. You can do plyos before the weights, and make sure you're sprinting twice a week when you are fresh. And what I mean by when you are fresh is your first thing you do that day. So your first workout that you do, you're sprinting. You get a good dynamic warm up in, you're sprinting, and you do that twice a week. Minimum twice a week, maximum 3 times a week. 2 to 3 times a week, you're running full speed sprints. And I talk about it in my explosive video. I talk about it in this video right here. The sprint days are the most basic, simple days in the world, but they still get you faster. All you really gotta do on your sprint days is get a good dynamic warm up in, run 3 40s and have 5 minutes rest in between, and then you can hit your field work drills. You can do all of that. That's really all you need to do for a speed day. That's what I did to get down from a 4.8 to a 4.4 in like a year or two. So I'm telling you, that works. I'm not going too in depth about that because I got videos I already mentioned. Next thing I'm gonna talk about in this movement section is, now that we're doing plyos and sprints, I already talked about this, but it's 10,000 steps a day. 10,000 steps a day will get you ripped. I'm telling you, 10,000 steps a day for really, it could be just a couple of months. If it's your first time really getting 10,000 steps a day, it could really be about 2 to 3 months. Like how I showed you, I went from January to March in these videos, January to April. It was just a couple of months of me counting my calories and doing 10,000 steps a day. You can transform your life in a couple of months by just counting your calories and doing 10,000 steps a day and lifting weights. I'm telling you. What I talked about in this video, if you want me to go more in depth and talk more about your personal situation, and if you tried these things and it hasn't worked, or whatever it is, if you have any questions, man, join my community and talk to me there, because then that's when I can be more personal with you and I can really find your solution. But I'm telling you, everything in this video is exactly what I did to become super ripped and athletic at the same time. And as I'm still doing this, I'm getting even more and more athletic and more ripped. Okay, it's not that hard. You just got to know what to do and how to do it. okay? And if you be consistent with these things, it's only in a couple of months, you will be a completely different person. Not just a player, a completely different person if you do all of these things, okay? Because this will build discipline. If you're not that disciplined of a person, I want you to use everything I talked about in this video as a challenge, as something that you can do to change your life in a couple of months. And join my community and talk to me there if you want me to get more personal with your situation, okay? And make sure that you're getting good recovery through all of these things, okay? Make sure you're getting good recovery, you're getting good night's sleep, because if you don't, you can get some injuries, you can get some overtraining injuries, and we don't want that, okay? So do these things I talk about in this video, and you will get ripped and explosive at the same time, okay? And now that we know how to get ripped and explosive, now we need to know how to reinvent ourselves on the field since we play football, okay? And here's how you can do that right now.